Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Jonathan Shroyer. Jonathan Shroyer is the Chief Customer Experience Innovation Officer at Arise Virtual Solutions. Jonathan worked to develop Officium Labs back in 2019, which was acquired by Arise Virtual Solutions in 2021. There, he leads the gaming and consulting verticals and runs the Customer Experience Lab in San Francisco. Shroyer has 2 decades of experience building companies and leaders up. CIO Journal, a publication of the Wall Street Journal, named Shroyer among its top customer experience professionals of 2022. Well, good afternoon, Jonathan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And you're hailing out of the great state of California in the Bay Area. Certainly love that place. It's amazing. And glad you're making the time today to jump on and do a podcast this afternoon here. So, Jonathan, thank you so much. And we're going to just jump right into the questions. We want to get right to the story here. So, Jonathan, talk to us about your career in customer success as a senior executive, entrepreneur, advisor, and now you're the Chief Customer Experience Innovation Officer at Arise Virtual Solutions. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
I think it started off when I was an agent on the phones back in 97, 96, which ages me a little bit. I had this innate desire just to kind of help people. And I always felt like being in a service-oriented career field, that I would do that. So I started off as an agent on the phones. And then when I was 21 years old as an agent on the phones, I set this 20-year plan of what I want to achieve professionally, personally, physically, and so forth and so on. And one of my goals was to become the CEO of a service technology company when I was 21, because I always felt like if you were serving people, the more impact you could have if you were running the company and serving people at the same time. And so throughout my career, I took service-oriented type roles. Like I was a operations manager for a service team. I was a financial controller at Microsoft for a service team. I was in global outsourcing at Microsoft for their customer services, and just a litany of other different types of roles that were all kind of service oriented. So when I started kind of being in the executive ranks 10 or 12 years ago in services, I started to really look at companies where what I brought every day was this natural desire to help people, where I could learn even more and build a business towards my goal of becoming a CEO. So I joined Postmates before it was acquired by Uber. I joined Kabam before it was acquired by Netmarble. And Autodesk always kind of feels like it's a startup environment, even though it's a mid-sized company these days. But I really wanted to learn a lot. And so then I founded my own company, Officium Labs, in 2019 before we were acquired by Arise a couple of years later. And I think that secret sauce is that same thing that I started with, is if you naturally just want to help people and you have a core value set that supports that, and then you find a business reason on where you can help people, you could really do a lot of cool things.
I love that story. And, a lot of stories start out that way. People found their way through their career, starting in the trenches. And I love that story at an early age where you got in, learned and grew and navigated to where you're at today. So, Jonathan, thank you. And Jonathan, Arise Virtual Solutions is known as a customer service innovator. What's the one thing that sets you apart from the rest?
What I think is so interesting about Arise is it was thinking about the future of work and changing how people work before the pandemic. So it was started in 1999 as a work from home remote kind of company. And over its maturation, it turned into a fully flexible company and network where you could tap into people anywhere around the globe with a multiple set of skills, whether it's customer service, game testing, project management, training, whatever that capability is, in on-demand fashion. So it gave clients the ability to have a flexible working staff just when you needed that particular skill set or talent. But it gave the workers the ability to work when they wanted to work and live where they wanted to live, and do something purposeful that was interesting to them for their job. And so I think it's super powerful in what makes us different.
Thank you again. nowadays that customer experience is where it's at. I don't care what type of technology you have, which, can augment your service. But at the end of the day, we all know that positive customer experience. So thank you again for sharing. And Jonathan, you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies in your platform. We're a technology publication, so we like to dive in just a little bit here. Is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
I think there's a lot of interesting things that are happening in the tech front. One that I really like to talk about is called Agent AI Assist. And essentially, it's this concept where a lot of companies, they'll use knowledge-based bots on the front end because NLP bots aren't as advanced quite yet. And they'll be like, oh, okay, did my knowledge-based bot answer your question? And, most of the time it's a no, and sometimes it's a yes. Okay, then let me get you to an agent, right? And what you find is that the overall satisfaction or the effort that customer went through was the effort was greater, the satisfaction was lower because they had that barrier in the beginning that didn't work out for them. And what's cool about Agent AI Assist is instead of putting that knowledge-based bot on the front where the customer sees it first, what you do is you put it on the back side. So when a customer submits in an inquiry, whether it's through chat or whether it's through email, the bot then responds on the backside where the customer doesn't see it. The agent looks at it, tweaks it, adjusts it. So then that first response that a customer gets is the ideal response that resolves their issue. The cool thing is on the back end, it increases the amount of automation that happens on the back end, and it decreases the amount of staff that you need, and it allows the staff that you have to really focus on delivering more meaningful experiences for your customers. So I think Agent AI Assist has started to take off the last couple of years. When I first started using it 5 years ago, it was early days, but that's definitely one technology that I think everybody should be doing if they're not doing in the next few years.
Thank you again. And we do appreciate that there's been a lot of discussion around some of these emerging techs or even technology that has existed for a number of years, but now it's really starting to mature, especially because of the pandemic, right? So we accelerated that innovation. So Jonathan, go ahead, Jonathan.
I was going to say that I think there's another one too that might be interesting to your listeners, if that's okay.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that happened about 5 years ago was the ability for databases to talk to each other much more effectively than they have ever done in the past. And what that allowed for a lot of companies was the ability to tie their product experience with their customer experience. And so I built a service tech maturity model that's been patented and is trademarked that creates the ability to do that at the database level and then prove that customer experience creates profit in every company. And I think that's another next generation technology on the analytics side, where you're using data and the technology because of the API and the integration pieces and the display layers that exist today. You can now leverage that data and prove that that service experience that you're investing in is delivering profit back to the bottom line. And I think that's earlier stages even than the Agent AI Assist. And we're going to start to see this happen a ton more over the next decade.
Thank you again. Highlighting some good technologies there. And so we appreciate that. And Jonathan, last question, can you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in customer success or entrepreneurship?
A piece of advice that I'd give, anyone that's either starting their career or is kind of midway through, I think sometimes, whether it's because we're taught this way or whether it's because we observe, we feel like the career is a ladder. And I kind of think of the career as a portfolio. And so I always encourage people that when they're trying to think about their career and what they want to do, whether it's to be an entrepreneur or whether it's, to work for small and medium business companies or large enterprises, is what are the different skill sets, capabilities, competencies, and experiences that you want in that portfolio when your career is done? And then really target to go after those. And different, depending on what those are, it'll take you a different direction with job titles or companies or industries or whatever, right? But I think that if you think about it from that perspective, I find it to be a much more enriching experience.
Jonathan, thank you for that. We appreciate it. You shared some amazing gems, and it's going to certainly help somebody here in our audience. So thank you again. And Jonathan, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Yeah, thanks for the time, Brian. It's an honor.
Bye for now.